Okay, we are already live on YouTube. Good evening again, Luciana. Good evening, YouTube. Um, Luciana, would you like to introduce yourself, please, for us?
Hello, my name is Luciana. I'm 45 years old. I have a daughter and a dog. I live in a small town south Minas Gerais. I work at sales department. I'm a sales consultant. In my free time, I like walking, ride a bike, watch TV, series, movies, and that's it.
That's nice. Thank you, Luciana. And my name is Iago. I am 30. I live also in a small town, but in Ceará, called Apuiarés. I live here with my husband and seven cats. That's one here with me. She's sleeping. But every time that I speak into my computer with someone, she likes to pass by the camera. Uh, I work as an instructional designer. I love to read in my free time. I also like embroidering, and that's it, I think. So, Luciana, today we are going to talk about of the future of lifelong learning in a digital society. Just for start, have you ever learned listen the term lifelong learning? What do you think about it?
I the the digital uh, sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yes, I asked you how do you understand when we say lifelong learning?
I I understand, and the life is short. I I try and the learning all time. Um, in my opinion, uh, I learn it all day, all time, and never never late for the learning in the life.
Yes, I totally
I
agree.
I I understand the question.
Yes, you did. I totally agree. I think that it's kind of a new term for a concept that exists all the time because, as you said, we need to learn all the time because even, especially now, everything is changing so fast with technology and AI and how we do our work. Everything is changing so fast that we need to be learning, we need to be open for it. And I think that maybe this is a term for me, at least. I think that is a term that I started to listen maybe 2 years ago, maximum, I think. It's like a new concept, but it's a concept that we already know, right? But okay, let's go to the questions. Question number one, Luciana, is to what extent does the accessibility of online information redefine the traditional role of a teacher in a classroom? What do you think? Um, Everything's changing. Also, education is changing. How do you feel about the teacher's paper in a classroom? What do you think about it?
Mm. the the actually education is very complicated. The teacher um, in the moment is the I don't say in English assume the other paper and um, the teacher is a mediador. Um, the um, além de ensinar, I don't remember the word. É um mediador que the the step by step for the student adquirir the mental fullness and the in the real the teacher is the other situation, other moment. The don't the teacher in the past. Uh, in the past,
Yes,
the teacher is learning the learning no teach the student decorar, import in the moment, in, not the education is possible more.
yes, I totally agree because I think that even for my generation, I think that teachers were always someone that we looked up as someone that has more knowledge and retain all the knowledge. Of course, they have more knowledge because they study for it, right? We can assume that somehow they might have some more knowledge than us, but we always have this feeling that it's someone that 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 is just there to pass the knowledge. And I think that maybe, and especially since the pandemic, I would say, I think that the teacher's role was really redefined during the pandemic because I was a teacher. I used to be a teacher in public schools, and during the pandemic, it was crazy because a lot of people didn't know how to deal with the situation and to understand that students, even when they are younger, um, they can learn by themselves when they have structure. Of course, we have a lot of things to think about this specific subject, but I truly believe that everyone is able to learn by themselves in some ways. Of course, it can be easier, it can be harder for someone, but I think that the teacher's role change and, and it's a profession that needed to adapt because now, for example, students have AI on their phones and they can search something really quick and the teacher can be, I don't know how to say this, but it can be desafiado, by the student about, I don't know, you can say something that is not that correct or something that is not updated. And now teachers have to deal with these situations, right? Um, Go on. You open your mic.
Cat? Yes.
I think that I can't hear you.
Two. Question
Yes, I
two.
think that, yeah.
How do you distinguish between simply acquire information and achieving deep and meaningful knowledge? Um, in my opinion, information is knowing something. Knowledge is understand, knowing how to use, and is planning what has been learned. I can know knowing the information, but I don't know explication. Um, Knowledge is I know information and I know explication for other people,
Yes,
in my opinion.
I think that you gave the perfect definition because when we think about on the scale on how we learn, uh, being able to teach other people about that subject, even if you're not a teacher, but being able to teach something, a subject that you learn, is like the top ability to that you acquire a knowledge. I think that you were spot on in your answer because I think the same. I think that information, for example, is something that we have access all the time. For example, if I have a doubt, I can just open Google on my phone, make a question, and that's it. I have that information. Will that be retained on my brain? Probably not. I will forget it. But the knowledge is something that stays, and I think that you were just perfect when you open the door for the cat. She wants to live. And and yeah, I totally agree that being able to pass on something is how we really acquire knowledge about something. Is that something that you usually do when you are learning something? Talk about it, help people that is studying the same to discuss something. Is that something that you do usually?
Um, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Did you
Um,
understand the question, or would you like me to repeat?
Repeat, please.
Okay. I was asking you if talk about things that you are learning is something that you like to do often. Se você gosta de conversar sobre o que você está aprendendo com outras pessoas, por exemplo.
Um, I'm shy, but I like hear the other people.
Ok.
More, I like her more speak. Gosto mais de
Yes.
ouvir do que de falar.
I believe that talking is being a good challenge to be a talker, right?
I'm a little nervous because my first immersion alone.
Oh, that's not a problem. I was saying to Philippe that I don't know if you usually do 6 p.m. immersions, but usually my immersions has only 4 people maximum. It's really small. And it's not my first time with just one person, so that's fine. Don't be nervous, okay?
Sorry.
Okay, Luciana, let me see another question here. I think the question number 4. Do you believe that standardized testing is an accurate measure of a student's true potential and intelligence? What do you feel about standard tests?
Uh, I believe the only only show part of the is part of a student's ability, um, not their full potential. I I think uh, the the test is, for example, the question and the options, letter A, letter B, letter C, letter D, depend. Sometimes some questions in the não tem there aren't the answers. Você é induzido a responder, entendeu? In my opinion. I the questions, they realize the questions and the interviews, and plus the results. Did you understand? No, I don't hear.
I closed my mic, sorry. I understand what you mean because now, for example, if we think about, let's say, NN, for example, that it's a really hard test that a lot of teenagers and adults also do to go to college, for example. It's a really big test that somehow I really don't get the purpose of that being so hard, you know, with a lot of questions that everyone know that it's impossible to answer in 4 hours because 90 questions, that's not something easy to do in an afternoon, you know. Um, Things like this bother me a little bit because that doesn't necessarily measure how intelligent you are. That's just something that will measure how much do you know about a specific subject. If you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, that's not good for you. For me, for example, if I needed to do a test about chemistry, physics, I don't know anything anymore because I don't remember. I don't use this knowledge anymore, you know. And and yeah, I agree with you that this kind of test, even for kids in school, it's not a I don't know. I don't think in another good word in this moment, but it's not like a honest way to measure how much a student learn about something, you know, because learning, uh, as we were speaking, knowledge can come from us to anywhere, anything, anyone. We learn all the time. We learn with different people. We learn with the interactions that we have uh, with other people and the things that we read, the things that we see, the things that we listen. And we can be intelligent in really different ways.
Yes.
And yeah, would you like to add something about this question?
I choose the question?
So I asked you if you like to add something about this question. Se você gostaria de acrescentar algo.
Ah, no. No, I agree with
Ok.
you. Uh, I think the uh, the the personal is different aptidões. I I agree with you that that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see another question for us, Luciana. Mm, I think that the next question, it's a good one.
Number five?
Question number 5. How
Yes.
does the constant pressure to learn new skills in a fast-paced economy affect a person's mental well-being? How do you feel about having so much information right now? And how do you feel that it's the impact on your mental health?
Uh, I it can cause the stress and the anxiety if there is no balance.
Yes, I believe so. And how do you feel about this pressure that I believe that we all have? For example, in the last 2 years, everything that we hear about is about AI. And somehow I believe that in our works we need to deal and we needed to learn about it. How do you feel about things moving so fast, for example, in the field that you work? Como você se sente no seu trabalho, por exemplo, tendo que aprender tanta coisa em curto tempo? How do you feel about it?
I'm stressed and anxious because I have learned English, uh, Power BI, and the negotiation. Uh, in the other topics, I um, I have the course in English Talk, and I have more 3 courses of my my works. I I have choose uh, I participate class the English class or I study the course. I have a balance. Mm.
Yes, I think that it's necessary to have a balance because otherwise we will go crazy trying to learn everything. The last few years, I was feeling really impacted about how much fast I need to learn some things. And sometimes we don't have enough time to internalize, like we are saying, to have meaningful knowledge about it. Sometimes we just know that something exists, but it's that for me. Do I need to learn how to deal with it? For example, for me, something that I am thinking a lot about learning is how to build AI agents. Not necessarily something that I need for my work because I work mostly with researching and text because I build classes, for teachers. And but I don't know why. I have this little pressure in my brain that, oh, I think that I need to learn about how to build AI agents. I don't know why. That's something that I will do in the future, but probably not right now because I'm focused on other things. And as you were saying, and because of this, feeling pressure to learn things and trying to understand if it's really necessary for me to learn something. For this year, for example, I did a little uh, calendar for study, and I have like three things that I want to do. I have a little course of 30 hours about instructional design that I want to do. It's really short. I can fit in my agenda. I want to be here in Talk and Talk 3 times per week because last year was crazy. I wasn't able to fit in my time. And that's another thing that I want to do. No, it's just this course and English. Yes, that's my main goal for this month, for January. And for the next months, I will try to understand what I will do and what I want to learn. Otherwise, we don't understand what we need to learn, what is necessary for us, for our work, and we can be like peixe fora d'água, just tapping on the streets and doesn't getting anything and being stressed. And that's not something that I want. But yeah, that's something that happens a lot because we have too much information all the time
Do
now.
you married?
Yes, I am married.
Ah, it's not easy.
Yeah,
It's I have work, married, husband, daughter, dog.
yes, and we also
Ai,
need to maintain our relationships, our husbands, our friends, the people that we love. And you said about you asked me if I am married, and I remember that I put as a goal for this year, for example, to talk to at least one different friend every week because that's something that I forget to do also, to talk to my friends. And that's something that's necessary. And I
yeah.
put that as a goal. I want to talk to at least one different friend. I don't have that much friends, but I want to talk to at least one different one per week because if I don't do that, I will talk to them never. And I don't want that to happen because I love my friends, and I want to be close to them. But yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that maybe for past generations, they don't get, probably don't get how we feel pressure right now to be always moving, doing something, being busy. And that's not something that it's necessarily good because being busy doesn't mean that you are doing something meaningful sometimes. What do you think?
Um, I think the new generation is sossegado. I I mm, I 45 years old. It is very difficult learning the language in mais velho. Entende? Did you understand?
Yes, I
I
get.
I feel difficult in and the others situations in my life and the uh, work, home, and the other courses, and it's very difficult. I would like the learn English last in the last in mais older, younger. It's
Yes, I
very
get
difficult
it.
for me because a little time.
Yes, and it's like a muscle, right? That we need to exercise a lot to to be strong. And speaking another language, developing any other skills, it demands a lot of exercise. And it's like our body. When we get older, it gets a little bit harder to be stronger in a in little time. But we need to understand that we need to respect our pace, be patient to ourselves, and understand that we can learn, right? It can be a little bit harder, it can be a little bit difficult, but I believe that being open to learn something is your first time learning English now, for example, or did you try in the past?
I try in the past.
Yes. And speaking is always the hardest part, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I mean that speaking is always the hardest part, uh, part to learn, because que falar é sempre a parte mais difícil, because we get so close in this mindset that, oh, I'm not allowed to make mistakes. I need to have the perfect accent, otherwise people will not understand me. How do you feel about this challenge, for example, now in Talk and Talk, that we are forced to speak? How do you feel now?
I like the 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 form, a forma, the talk and talk, the immersion, I think it force, for example, today, I when I see, when I saw the, I was one, I me deu um frio na barriga, eu não lembrava nem meu nome. But I think eu vou participar, né? I feel the eh, medo, né? But I don't de, desistir, eu não vou desistir. I
Yeah.
when I finish the immersion, I think, oh, I I know they speak, I know the words, but didn't, I don't speak.
Yes,
It's very
it's
difficult.
okay. Yeah, but it's okay to froze sometimes in some situations because we are not prepared every time. I remember that we had a student here that she said it was. I think that it was my immersion also. It was not other person. But I remember that she said, "Oh, today I didn't saw the question." And that's a challenge for me because I want to see if I'm able to talk about something just knowing the questions in the moment. It's a challenge that people do sometimes. For me, for example, I don't see the questions anymore because I like the surprise of the subjects that we are going to talk about it, in other people's immersion. Um, but face it like today being here just with me now with other people as a good challenge to get out of your shell. You said that you consider yourself a shy person, but I think that this is a moment to understand, am I really shy? I think that I can sustain a conversation with just one people, with just one person in English, you know?
I prepared the answers, but I nervous. I didn't find it.
That might be a good thing, because you are forcing your brain to think about the answer, and the answer is coming. That's great, Luciano. You are doing great. Let me see another question for us. We have 8 minutes left. Um, I think that the last question, it's a good one. If you could redesign one aspect of the education system you grew up in, what would it be and why?
What number? The question?
The last one, last question, number 10. One,
Number
two, three,
10.
four, five.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Um,
question number 10.
I think the necessary um, um, fewer tests and the more hands on activities and projects.
Yes,
I think necessary to prepare the student for other moments in immersion. For example, the speak for the many peoples. Um, in my case, in my minha época, I didn't the students not prepare for the speak many peoples and the participate the immersions. Um, in other words, bicho do mato. In my
yes,
case, for because I live in a small city, and I spent many situations in school, in university, and eu chegava lá que faltava enfiar debaixo da mesa. Did you understand?
yes. I get
I
what,
think
what
they
you mean.
prepare the students for other situations.
Yes, I think that we lost a lot of skills when we are growing up because if that's not something that you learn in other group of people, it's not necessarily something that you will learn at school. For example, you said about, let's put a situation more specific, like speaking in public. A lot of people is afraid of speaking in public, and that's not something that's not a skill that we necessarily learn when we are at schools. I think that even nowadays, young students learn that in school. I last in November, yes, in November, I was with a friend. She's a professor in a college,
Yeah.
and I was there with her, seeing some students to present the final papers, the TCC, presenting TCC, some students, and they were really nervous, and they were all grown up, like 20 plus, even some 30 plus, and they were really afraid of talking in public, even for people that they already knew that they was the teachers, the his colleagues, because that's not something that we practice when we grow up. And that's why we feel so nervous about talking to someone that we don't know, talking to a group of people. Um, and that's not an easy skill to practice. As I was saying about learning language, we also need to practice. It's a muscle that we need to practice these other skills. But I totally agree with you because when I used to be a student in elementary and middle school. It was the same. We didn't have much opportunity to do hands-on activities, and I don't know if now is different. I know that we have a lot of traditional teachers in schools, and and teachers can be really, how can I say it, resistant to change,
Yeah.
I say this because I was a teacher and I met a lot of teachers that were so resistant to change how they teach. And okay, they don't feel the difference, but the students feel the difference. And that's why it would be really good if some things change. But we have 2 minutes, Luciana, and I would like to ask you a final question really quick. It's not on the planner, but I would like to ask you, how is your favorite way to learn something new? Como é a sua forma favorita de aprender algo novo hoje em dia, depois de adulta?
My favorite form is I write. Is I think is good form for fixação. Um, I I like review many times. I I like in the paper. uh, uh, Before the immersion, I exercise the platform. Uh, in my case, I like writing
Yes,
or
that's a
fixing.
that's a that's a good one. I ask you this because last year I was preparing this class about learning and being protagonist in your career, and I found out this book that is really good. Let me put the title here really fast, and I think that I can share with you the concept that this book brings. is a
Copy.
is a model that it's a model that they call SEP plus R. You can download the image after we need to finish, but I think that it's a really good concept on how we can learn something new from different sources. Besides the subject, we can look for experience, we can look for people, we can build a network that can help us to retain, to learn something new. And this is a subject that I was really blown by because I think that it's a really good one on how we can learn something, and that's how I'm trying to learn this year.
Mm.
Uh, okay, Luciano, I
Oi.
don't have much time. It's already 7 p.m. I need to
Oh.
clean the room. It was a pleasure to meet you. Okay, it was really nice talking to you. Don't be afraid. If you ever face another immersion with just one person, you'll be fine. You did fine with me. Don't be anxious. Don't be frozen.